guys before the game, maybe about 30 minutes or so, saw TJ put out a statement that he's choosing to redshirt. Just what you can divulge, just how were those talks, and how does that kind of affect what you're hoping to do this year with him?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for TJ, but I'll be really clear. I'm a big TJ Caldwell fan. We experienced a lot together in our time together, so we really appreciate everything he did with our program, both on the court and off. He's a good person, good player. This is part of college basketball, so we wish him the best, period. He's a guy that I'll always pull for. But yeah, so big fan of TJ, man. We wish him the best in what he's doing. He's no longer part of our team here, but we wish him the best. He's got a bright future.
What do you think of some of the younger guys tonight, like John and Eduardo?
Yeah, that's exactly what we said after the game. It's always kind of a special deal. Like, senior night's always cool, graduation Saturday, championship runs, ladder day, and all this. But another thing that's really kind of important to me, I think it's cool, like when you see a freshman play his first college game. And so for John Bull and Klafke, I think they both scored in the game. They both made a couple plays in the game. There's an opportunity for both those young guys this year to help this team. And then certainly we all understand what this thing could look like in the future as they run their own race. But no, that's kind of the highlight of tonight's game. It's the one thing we talked about after the game. It's just congratulating those two guys on their first college game.
Obviously, the stats speaks for itself, but just what did you make just throughout the game about Juju's performance?
Yeah, so this is a team, if we can get 5, 6 guys in double-figure scoring, that's our offensive identity. Tonight, I think we got 4, and it would have been 5 if the game would have been a little bit different. So tonight, the basket got big for Juju. I agree with him. Give his teammates credit. They're the ones that passed him the ball and spaced the floor where he could get those shots. So, for our team to kind of go down this journey and have the kind of season we'd all like to have, we're going to have some different leading scorers on different nights. But I thought Juju did a good job tonight, taking great shots. The balance on his shot, the rotation, his footwork tonight was really good. A couple of those when he shot it, I felt really confident it was going in when it left his hand. So he's been really working on the discipline of his shot. When you're already a good shooter and you have some individual goals to have the best season you've ever had, when you start trying to go from 38, 39% to 45, 46%, that's always in the details. But I thought Juju had a really good floor game tonight and shot the ball well.
I know offensive rebound, giving up offensive rebound was something you were hoping to improve on every Sunday. Did you feel like that was heading in the right direction tonight?
I'm not sure. We're a work in progress. So, I thought Long Island was scrappy, kind of physical. There was nothing easy around the basket. That's kind of how the game started. We got some pretty good looks. We got called for a couple offensive fouls around the basket. So I credit them. They're a physical team, period. They're going to have a good season, in my opinion. But, yeah, we just got to yet to be determined. The goal tonight was to out-rebound the opponent. We got that done, but we'll see. I think we have an opportunity to take what's a perceived maybe weakness of our team and turn it into a positive. I see no reason why we can't be a really good rebounding team. We have physical, older guys. We have some guys that can play above the rim. We have some guys that can carve out space, real estate with their physical size. So, and then we need our guards to rebound better. So tonight to get to 13, 14 offensive rebounds, it seemed like from where I was sitting, that's a good sign. But yet to be determined. I don't have a strong opinion on our rebounding yet. It's like I tell the guys, you got to prove this to me.
I remember you said earlier in the season that this fate of many teams will be determined on the defensive end of the floor. Through one game, what worked well for your defense? What do you think needs to improve?
Yeah, well, for sure, the kind of bookends of the defense, our transition, gave up too many kind of untimely fast breaks, just the discipline to get back, stop the ball. Had too many blow-bys today. The responsibility for the guy stopping the ball is to stop the ball. We didn't get that done a few times. They even had one fast break when we picked them up with a soft press. That should never happen. So that's got to get better. We did have a couple of good plays in transition, some kind of special efforts. Thought Benson made some really good plays in his minutes late game. The other bookend, rebounding, we've talked about that. We're a work in progress. I think some positives tonight is to have 13, 14 blocks. That's the rim protection that we need. That's got to be some type of school record, especially when we don't have books around here. Jamarion Sharp, those records kind of had an asterisk next to him last year because he was a special shot blocker. But tonight, the team team effort in blocking shots was good. We had a lot of respect for their leading scorer. I think number 0, he had 13 points at half. It's a focal point of our halftime adjustments. I think he got 2 buckets in the second half, so maybe some positives there.
How do you feel about the playmaking on the offensive end? I know kind of slow start in the first half. Seems like kind of picked up in the second half. Playmaking.
Yeah, I think our slow start is just one of those interesting deals. I agree with Juju. Like, we were getting good shots around the basket. We had 2 offensive fouls. There's not really block charges in college basketball anymore, so I have to go back and check those. We had a couple untimely turnovers. One of them, I think, was an illegal screen. So I'd be sitting there at the first media timeout and not have a basket. We're still in the game because we've only given up 2 or 4 points. So there's going to be other segments like that this year. It's a long season. There's going to be some 4-minute games where we have a hard time getting in the basket. So I was really proud of our defense early. Opening game, not jitters or nervousness with our older guys, but there's a feeling and an excitement. I know I felt a little different when I woke up this morning. It is what it is. It's reality. And so I thought that start really put a lot of pressure on our defense. There'll be another thing if we'd have looked up and we're down 9-0, 10-0. So offensively, I was okay with the start. Just we got to finish around the basket better.
Coach, you mentioned at the start that Juju was Student Athlete of the Month, and you said you would talk about what you think of him as a student athlete at a later date. Is that now a later date?
No, it's not the day.
Okay.
Maybe in the book one day. Chapter 64, Jalen Murray from the Bronx. I got all sorts of Juju stories, but tonight's probably not the best setting. No, I'm proud of Juju. He's grown a lot in his time in Oxford, not just as a player, but he's getting after it academically. He started this summer, a little bit more discipline, getting ahead of assignments, so that's good. And I think there's a parallel between how you approach academics, how you approach your social life, and what kind of basketball player you are. So I'm proud of you.
You put Cam Brennan once the crowd kind of started chanting his name. What was it like to kind of see him get that bucket and just the crowd go wild? It was most loud they've been all night.
Yeah, it was fun. Cam Brent's a good player. I mean, all-state player in high school. There's a lot of colleges he could be playing. He loves Ole Miss. He's got a plan for his future. He's a big part of our team. I mean, nobody's more important than Cam. He has a lot of responsibility on him every day in practice. He runs our scout team. He's an energy guy. Sometimes he's a student coach. Sometimes he's a player. Yeah, he's a good player. I didn't really like the defensive. He scores a basket. He's over there looking at Matt Morrell, and he gives up a layup. But, that's not for me to say. I was happy that he scored the basket. I wish he'd played defense a little bit better.
Any more questions for Coach?
All right, see you guys Friday.